Yleiskilpailuja on 12, mutta systeemi ei ole aivan sama kuin viime kaudella.
No, lauantaipäivälle on sen verran muuttunut, että nyt ketään ei pääse automaattisesti mukaan, vaan kaikki joutuvat kartiin. Hopeamies ja pronssimies Evers, Donny Smith ja Bob Moore, että vauhtia riittää varmasti nuoria nälkäisiä kavereita. Ja Vehkosen Pekkahan on siellä niin ylimääräisenä, eli säännöt sallii 8 ja Pekka on ylimääräisenä viimevuotisten saavutusten perusteella. Odotetaan tietysti Pekalta, että mitalikamppailussa on mukana. Aaltosen Miska
on näyttämönä, kun peräti 57. Päijänne ajo valmistautuu lähtöön. Mukana tässä kevätkauden avauksessa on yli 250 osanottajaa. SM-pisteiden lisäksi panoksena on maaottelu Suomi-Ruotsi-taistelu, jossa kummankin maan parhaat endurokuskit ottavat mittaa toisistaan erittäin vaikeissa oloissa. Ruotsin Sven-Erik Jönsson on ehkä maailman tämän hetken kovin endurokuski.
Det är väl en rolig tävling, fast som i år är det väl kanske lite blött. Det är väl bättre om det är lite minusgrader och lite mer fruset.
Det är ganska mycket snö.
Ja, det kan bli lite svårt för oss. Vi har inte åkt till snö sedan 87 hemma, så att det är 5 år sedan.
Tällä miehellä on 2 kiinnitystä Päijänne-kilpeen. Tänä vuonna on tavallista enemmän lunta reitillä. Suosiiko se sinun ajotyyliäsi?
No se suosii kyllä, koska vauhti pikkasen tippuu ja se on niinku raskaampi keli. Se on mulle niinku, mä tykkään siitä.
Onko sulla kunto ja pyörä kunnossa?
On molemmat kunnossa.
Miten olet valmentautunut tätä Päijännettä varten?
No ajamalla mahdollisimman paljon ja tää viimeinen viikko on mennyt ihan niinku huoltohommissa.
Tässä on myös maajoukkue kyseessä. Onko Ruotsi vahva haastaja?
Nehän on maailman kovimpia endurokuljettajia. Musta tuntuu, että sieltä se kovin vastus tulee.
Numero 28 on Ismo Vehkonen. Motocrossari on nyt 6. yleiskilpailussa. Numerosta 30 alkaa maajoukkue edustajat. Tässä Peter Hansson. Ja numero 34 on Sven-Erik Jönsson, joka on toisena nyt kun tämän päivän urakka on takana. Joakim Hedendal johtaa ja paras suomalainen on Juha-Pekka Leino, hän on 3. Jukka Aures on 5. Kilpailut ovat parhaillaan tauolla Järvenpäässä ja huomisaamuna kello 6 jatkuu Päijänteen kiertäminen.
Welcome back to go, and we're in Spain for the first round of the World Championship 125cc Motocross. Well, big crowds turning out to Jerez in Spain. Well known, of course, for motor racing, and it's part of the motor racing circuit where we're doing our motocross. But in total contrast, this lovely city, known as the Sherry Centre, of course, of Spain. Beautiful old architecture. Not so beautiful architecture as the entrance to the circuit. Let's have a look at last year's standings. Stefan Everts, of course, isn't in the 125cc championship this year. He's moved up to 250. Bobby Moore, Pedro Trachte, Yves de Maria and Andrea Bartolini. But we're going to be seeing Dave Strivers and John van der Berg back in this year. Let's have a look at some of the contenders. Pedro Trachte, of course you know so well. And in the training, Dave Strivers has gone extremely well. John van der Berg has done sort of fairly well. Yves de Maria, funnily enough, was 4th in the championship last year and was 4th best in training. Andrea Bartolini has been doing well. So keep an eye out for him, and also Vista Bartolini, who's his brother. Greg Albertine, Dutch licensed South African rider. He's been going well in training. But this is the man who's been storming around, back in 125cc again. John van der Berg was the 1987 world champion, as you can see, and he's very, very confident. Alessio Chiodi, European champion from last year. We saw a lot of him in our motocross all-rounders, of course. Beautifully prepared circuit here in Jerez. A bit of wind, slightly cloudy, but nice and dry as we scoot off now for our first heat. And into that first corner, well, John van der Berg has taken the lead. There's a bit of a pile-up on the left-hander there, but nobody badly in trouble. It means that John van der Berg has got a strong lead, and Greg Albertine is in second place at the moment. Now then, those of you who've need a bit of reminding. The rules have been changed. We're on 3 heats per round this year, so we get 3 starts. Now then, let's see, in 3rd place at the moment, we've got Frederick Werner on Suzuki. And we've also got some surprises because Pedro Tractor had a bad start back down in 8th position. The man who got a quite appalling start and got caught up in some of those problems on that first left-hander was Yves de Maria, and he's having to chase up really hard. There's a great grandstand set up on the back of the hill there. Unfortunately, there's no in it. It's a bit of a shame. But some of the grandstands starting to fill up here. And it really is a well laid out circuit. Okay, Peter Piera, a bit of a surprise. Let's see how he did in training. And he was about 6th fastest in training, so someone to keep an eye on. And John van der Berg now strongly out in front. Kees van der Berg, of course, is the team manager here. And you see that grandstand is really quite full, so there are quite a few people turning up. Now, incredibly enough, Yves de Maria is pulling that tractor there going well. Strybus in 5th. Yves de Maria is pulling up 2 or 3 places a lap. And as we reach the 8th or 9th lap, there are only, of course, 13 laps in this first heat. We see that Yves de Maria has pulled up into 6th position. So that's the old checkered flag going out. John van der Berg from Greg Albertine, from Peter Berre. He did well, didn't he? Pedro Tractor, Dave Strybus, and with 1 or 2 quite useful points and some excellent driving, Yves de Maria. So we move straight on to our 2nd heat now. And Yves de Maria is not making the same mistake this time. You can see number 4 streaking out into the lead, and round that first corner, that's where the problems were. And he's going absolutely flat out this time, the French star. Incidentally, in that first heat, Matthew Gordon managed 16th. Craig Prattley for the UK managed 18th. And the fastest lap was by Greg Albertine. Well, Greg Albertine going really well here again as well, because he's in 3rd place. Well, he's moved up into 2nd place as I speak there, and that means he's pushing down Peter Dirk into 3rd place. So Yves de Maria with a good, strong lead here. Almost perfect conditions. The clouds have cleared a bit now, and there's a little bit of sunshine, which gives perfect detail on the circuit. There goes Greg Albertine going through in 2nd place. Peter Dirks. Well, Peter Dirks has fallen, and John van der Berg has now moved into 3rd place. So Peter Berre is in there as well. And 1 or 2 of the surprises, which is a great shame for Cheryl Swieba, who started down in 32nd place, but he's working his way back. He's already into the top 20 at the moment. Matthew Gordon having a good outing here, and Matthew Gordon is hovering around the top 10. And he's riding a pretty steady 2nd heat and ends up, I think, in something like 11th position. Craig Prattley down in 18th. Greg Albertine once again with the fastest lap. Yves de Maria winning. John van der Berg in 3rd. Peter Dirks managed 4th in the end. Good riding. Now you get an idea of how great this circuit is. Doesn't that look great? Let's have a chat with Dave Strybus. Find out what happened to him.
En toen ben ik even onderuit gegaan, waardoor ik niet verder kon gaan, omdat ik een beetje dizzy was.
Well, he said, I had a lot of trouble with the front wheel. It slipped away, and I lost it right at the beginning, and there was no recovering. On to the 3rd and final heat. Let's not worry about the losers. Let's have a look at the winners now. It's really got to be Greg Albertine, who goes out into the front there. He's absolutely determined to make his impression here in this first round, and my word, he's doing. Look at the lead he's got already, ahead of number 99, of course, who is Vista Bartolini, brother of Andrea Bartolini, in 2nd place at the moment. Yves de Maria, once again, not a very good start. He started in 7th place, but he's starting to work his way back up the field again. Matthew Gordon is Well, he's running way down in, well, he's in about 18th position at the moment, so it's not too bad. But here we see a great battle between, well, Dave Strybos is out of it, and there's all sorts of problems happening there. Let's concentrate on fourth place, John van der Berg now. And Dave Strybos is chasing him hard, but there's not a lot he can do at the moment. Albertine riding a brilliant race. The man from South Africa with a Dutch license here in Spain, showing everyone a clean pair of heels. Yves de Mariat now has worked his way back up the field after a bad start. And Pedro Tractor, I think, is in about third position. Dave Strybos is now back up into fourth position. And it's amazing, John van der Berg up and down like a yo-yo, but there's no doubt about it that Greg Albertine, second position is Yves de Mariat. And look at these two going for third position. Strybos moves into third. Yves de Mariat chasing him really hard. Now, Greg Albertine takes the checkered flag, and that means that if we have a look at the standings, Greg Albertine has 54 points ahead of Yves de Mariat's 47, ahead of John van der Berg's 44, Pedro Tractor's 35. The first round of the World Championship 250cc motocross. 3 heats this year instead of 2 heats, and we are showing all 3 heats today. We saw heat 1 a little earlier. Edwin Evertson won ahead of Marnik Barefoots, ahead of Stefan Everts, with Paul Mallin bringing in a fantastic 4th. We're now going to kick off with heat 2. So lovely setting here in Valkensvaart, and everything here, the fun of the fair, 17,000 spectators, but look at these bikes lined up, ready to go for the second heat in round 1 of the World Championships. Down goes the traps, and away they go. Now let's see who gets the best start. It was the man who started best last time out, did well. It looks like Puzar in the lead there. Beautifully re-prepared this track, 17,000 fans out here. That's Puzar, and I think Everts, Stefan Everts, I think. So hard to see, isn't it? So, Stefan Everts is absolutely right, and Edwin Evertson. So, Puzar, Everts, Evertson. Now, Puzar had a lousy first heat. I'm just trying to see where he ended up. He ended up in 8th position, which he won't be happy with. As he's so used to doing, he's going to get out there and keep well clear of any trouble, and that's where he's happiest, of course. It's about quite a long track, this, you know. It's about 4 kilometers long. Well, we don't really know Robert Bengtsson, do we? But he's not having much luck here. Great facilities, super grandstands, perfect spectator layout here. And look at the lead these guys are laying down now. And Gert-Jan van Doorn is also going well again. Trampos Parker we haven't really seen, but he's up there in the top 10. Marnik Barefoots. There's Puzar. So a big old battle going on here. Edwin Evertson is really being shown a clean pair of heels by the 19-year-old Everts, my word, but that is Edwin Evertson. And Mickey Diamond, who went really well in the first heat until he had to give way to some of these other names that are powering through now, but he led for quite a while in the first heat. In fact, he managed 12 laps in the first heat, and then he had to retire. Well, this time round, he's going to rejoin, but he's not doing very well, parking amongst those tyres. So, the crowd... Edwin Evertson now, he was just pushing it maybe a little too hard, trying to chase. He was in second place when that happened. And that looks like Jakob Bart going through there as well. So Van Dorn is now ahead of Edwin Evertson. Stefan Everts must be increasing his lead, I would have thought, by now. Stefan Everts has transformed from the rookie of a few years ago, the new boy in 125cc who grew up to be the youngest world champion ever. Then he moves up a gear to 250cc, and my word, he really is the man to be reckoned with this year. He's young enough, he's got enough experience now, his body isn't battered and bruised like a lot of the veterans who are out here, the Trampers Parkers of this world, or I should say Pekka Vekonen, who's 27 years of age, for heaven's sake. So Stefan Everts has got the whole world in front of him at this moment. And going through there was 65. But there is Trampers Parker. Petter Johansson is down the field at the moment. It's interesting to see that our Paul Mallon, who did so well in the first round, in the first heat I should say, is way back in the running now. I don't know whether he's got a problem. He had a lousy start, that's for sure. So the best British entry at the moment is Rob Herring, who had to retire in lap 7 of the first heat, and Rob Herring is somewhere around the top 10. Bobby Moore's gone down again. He's not having very much luck. He ended up 15th in the first heat. And he just read that rut completely wrong. And keeps well away from the bike. Right, and going past is Petter Johansson. And number 9 is Thies Visser. We haven't really seen Thies Visser since our motocross all-rounders. Oh, Pouzar's gone down now. I wondered who that was. Pouzar. Well, this is quite extraordinary. He led for a while, he was in second place there, and that means Stefan Everts, who's well out of trouble now, his pit will be telling him that he's got really no one breathing up his exhaust pipe at all. Gert-Jan Van Dorn, one day I'll pronounce that right, Gert-Jan Van Dorn, I think is probably the way to pronounce it, is going well at the moment. But Pouzar now, everything to do. He's got to score some points here. He's got to prove himself after his injury-laden season last year. Evertson is 4th. Marnik Barefoot is closing the gap all the time. And that is Gert-Jan Van Dorn. It's interesting to see these guys are lapping around here as close to 47 kilometers an hour as makes no difference. And the fastest lap so far is Stefan Everts' lap of 2 minutes 22.97, and that was in excess of 50 kilometers an hour, and Mike Healy's gone down. My word, this is not a good opening to the season for Healy. And Healy just lying there. I hope we get an action replay of this. Oh God, he lands on his left arm and you see it crinkle there, and it looks as if he's broken his forearm. And what bad luck for Mike Healy, who's lying there in absolute agony. I hope he hasn't broken it, but it looked absolutely appalling there for Healy, who has sometimes the worst luck. He really does. So Edwin Evertson back into 3rd position now. Gert-Jan Van Dorn just letting him go through there, probably getting a little bit tired, I don't know. They say the extra pressure of a lot of attention they're going to Healy. We'll let you know more about him later on. But they say the 3 laps gives the guys a rest in between the heats, of course. The 3 heats, I mean. But they do have, of course, the extra pressure of 3 starts and 3 sorting out periods while they get themselves organised. There goes Edwin Evertson. Marnik Barefoot is ahead of Van Dorn, and that's Alwyn van Asten. We haven't seen much of him, have we? Marnik Barefoot's in 4th position now. Van Asten, who had a lot of injury last year, outside the top 10 at the moment, but probably just finding his feet literally at the moment. So we don't even see Stefan Everts. He's in a world of his own out there, riding beautifully. And here's a good battle now between Marnik Barefoots. We're on this last lap of this second heat, and it's a great battle. Ow, ooh, you can see how dodgy it is. He was just pushing a little bit too hard. And there's Stefan Everts now. Look at him, he looks like a world champion, he rides like a world champion, and who knows at this early stage whether or not he's going to be able to crack it this year in the new 250cc class. But my word, that package is looking good, isn't it? Stefan Everts, he's got age on his side, he's got Suzuki on his side, and he's got confidence on his side. And the crowd loving it as he takes the line. Pouzar manages to hang on to second place. Marnik Barefoots third. Edwin Evertson fourth. Gert-Jan van Dorn in fifth position. Good old Trampas Parker hanging on in there in sixth position. Rob Herring, a good eighth there. There goes Evertson under his own stage. 3 of round 1 of the World 250cc Motocross Championship. There's some interesting things developing. We're looking, especially with the 3 heat system this year, we're looking at consistent riding, and the man who's really consistent is Everts and Evertson and Barefoots. The British riders of Mark Eastwood, Paul Mallin, Rob Herring.